Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. I know Helen's already thanked you, but I'd like to thank you again because I think it demonstrates the level of concern within the community about what is potentially going to happen to Warsash and the Western Moors. My name is Megginson, as Helen said. I'm not from this area, but I've lived in Lockheath and Warsash for the past 40 years, so I like to think myself as a local now. It's a bit ironic, last time I was in this room was November the 10th, which was the CAP meeting. That time, obviously, I was where you were sat now, and I find it a bit ironic now I'm presenting, and I hope we can get a bit more constructive views from this meeting than we did from the CAP meeting. So, why are we here? We've had some of that from Helen, but we're here really, I think, to inform you since the planning decisions on the 24th of January. For those who don't know, there was 405 or up to 405 houses approved in the Warsash area. They were 3 applications. Those were permitted, as I say, and it is outlined, as Charlie said, so there is a lot more work to be done. But there are more applications coming. So the purpose, I think, for tonight, for us certainly, is to inform you of that, and also really to get some outcomes and how we can influence the council to get a better outcome for the area. It's also an opportunity for us to enlist your support. As Helen said, we're just a group of residents. Some of us got full-time jobs, so it's quite a pressurised time for us. So if any of you are willing to help, we certainly welcome that. So the planning process. Can we just ask how many of you were at the CAP meeting, the 2 CAP meetings on the in November? Okay, probably 60% or so. Okay, I'm just going to spend a little bit of time going through the process. So for those of you who were here and heard it from the council, please bear with me. Go to the next slide, please. So it's really to influence what is appropriate, particularly for Warsash and the Western Wards. In 2017, the government has plans to build hundreds of thousands of homes. In 2017, they met their target for the first time in a long, long time, which is 217,000 throughout the country. Next year they've got 300,000 as a target. So clearly, this is a nationwide issue, and there's a lot going on up and down the country to try and protect some areas, and we fall into that category. Yeah, so around 2,500 are proposed on greenfield sites, and the CAP meeting gave the process about the draft plan, the draft local plan, and that is particularly relevant because the draft local plan is a new plan which supersedes or will supersede the local plan that was put in place until 2036. And what's changed really is the Cranley Road appeal in Portchester. In January 17, the council declined the application on Cranley Road, and the applicant came back with appeal. And the appeal process actually found that the council did not have, as Charlie pointed out, a 5-year housing supply. And they measured that against the objective housing needs. And what the housing inspectorate found was that Cranbury Council only had 2 years housing supply. It does beg the question how you can go from 2 years to 5 years, but nevertheless that is a material difference and change. And what that has meant is that the council now have to get to speed and get up to 5 years housing supply. And the change there that's particularly affecting this area is building on greenfield sites. The draft local plan, I'll come on to that in a minute in terms of the process, but between 2012 and 2036, 11,300 homes are having to be built, and the draft local plan has 92 sites within or to deliver those homes. There are, I think, about 100 sites that have been rejected, but there isn't a lot of detail on that, and that's one of the areas we're pursuing, because there's a big site down south of Fareham, yeah, that's it. Yeah. And that's something that we think should be reopened and looked at, but at the moment that's not on the table. So, go to the next slide, please, Rachel. Planning process. This is where we are now. The new local plan, which is a draft local plan. The consultation period closed a few months ago. I'm not actually sure it's consultation or presentation. I said that to the council. didn't go down very well. But this is the timetable for agreement of that plan. So the draft local plan, autumn 2017, that position is closed. A lot of feedback went into that. We wait to see how much of it will change. Summer 2018, the representation on the publication of the plan. And then autumn 18, a local plan to the Secretary of State, which concludes really in summer 2019 for the adoption of that plan. So as you can see, it's a lengthy 2.5 year process. But in advance of that, there has been call for sites, call for building sites from the council, which has happened, I think it was around 2015. All sorts of sites came forward, and the council has assessed those sites, and what is left in the plan of those that they are recommending is built on. But there's a but with this. In parallel to the draft local plan, which doesn't carry a lot of weight at the moment, the sites that are in that draft local plan, some of them have put in for planning applications. That includes the 3 that were approved on the 24th of January. So we're in a bit of a pickle really. The council have to deliver these homes, government are forcing them to. They issued a draft local plan which doesn't carry much weight, yet the planning process has enabled the applicants of those sites to put in plans which have to be heard and decided on. And that's what happened for the first major ones, strategic ones, both in Cranley Road and for this area on the 24th of January. The next stage would be detailed planning approval, and Charlie mentioned a few words on that, and that is an opportunity to influence it. But really I think before that, if we can either reduce or stop a couple of these applications, then that's the route we would like to take. Thank you. Charlie also mentioned it's a very, very complicated process. None of us on our team are planning experts. We have engaged 1 or 2 people. But when you read the amount of documents, different policies, different supplementary guidance advice, national policies, known as NPPF, National Policy Planning Framework, they all interlink, they all in some areas contradict. And what we found from going to the planning applications on the 24th of January was that there is now considerations which lead to what we call the tilted balance. The tilted balance in the National Planning Policy Framework says there's a presumption in favour of sustainable development unless any adverse impacts significantly and demonstrably outweigh the benefits. Now, what that says, I think, to me, is certainly that it's a subjective decision. And when we put our case forward at the 24th, on the 24th of January, we had a lot of policy work. We had a lot of subjective stuff, which I'm sure you're all aware of. The doctors are full, dentists aren't taking any more patients, the schools are full and cannot expand, the roads are a nightmare. And to add, circa 800 houses alone in Warsash, 1,500 in the Western Wards, is just going to make the situation far, far worse. But back to the tilted balance. So it's a subjective decision, and what we found is that that's how the councillors will take it. They're not planning experts either. They rely on the development control to advise them on what the sites should or should not be approved. So we've got a challenge on our hand, I think, because of this subjectiveness, and I think we've all learned a little bit since the 24th of January. The decision was close, by the way. We had 4 councillors objecting and 4 for, and unfortunately it went to the chair, and the chair decided that they had no option but to let the planning applications through. I think one of the strong arguments he had was that to face an appeal from the applicants, the last appeal, Cranley Road appeal, cost council £150,000. So they were concerned, the council were concerned, if they get drawn into similar appeal cases, then there's a lot of taxpayers' money, council taxpayers' money that would be involved in that. Sorry? Well, that's one of the things we've got to look at. I'll come on to that in a minute, but thank you for your comment. Go to the next slide, please. So, just a few facts. Fairham Council, Cranley Road. I covered that in terms of the background and why, what has changed and why we are where we are now. The breakdown for the Western Wards in the draft local plan is 11 sites in Warsash, 12 if that number 3126 is a reference to a planning site in the draft local plan. 6 in Cargate, 7 in Salisbury Green, 3 in Oxheath, 5 in Titchfield, and 7 in Titchfield. So when you tot up the numbers, since 2012-13 to 2016-17, it's fiscal years, Western Wards has taken 62% of the new housing bills in the borough. 62%, which is a massive percentage. When you look at the map, the Western Wards occupies, it's difficult to assess it accurately, I would say around 30-35% by area, and it's taken 62% of the new bills. Moving forward, the draft local plan, of the 3,300 houses allocated, approximately 1,500 of those are again in the Western Wards, 50%. So you can see that the Western Wards have been targeted and continue to be targeted, and from a balanced view across the borough, it's just not happening, and that's one of our arguments. I covered the last point on that. Thank you, Rachel. Some detail on there, I won't go through it all, but this is directly out of the draft local plan, and you can see that the approved application was 24th of January 405. Submitted, these are live applications which have to be dealt with by the council, else they get fined, is 737. One of those I put in grey is Stubbington's. It's not really in our area, and it goes down to about 500 and whatever it is, 180-ish. And then there are other sites that haven't had the planning applications put in yet. So these are yet to come. Navigation School is one, which is 100 sites. And on Greenaway Lane, there's at least one more site. Maybe 50, we don't know, it could be 100, I don't know. So those are the sites that are active, and those are the sites that are to come. Thank you, Rachel. That's the map I was talking about earlier. You can see on the far left as you look at it. And the items in red are the major sites. And you can see there's quite a big site here on the east of Fareham. But the Western Wards are significantly targeted. And if you took the area which I was trying to describe, it's roughly sort of there, and you can see that as a quite small area compared to the volume of houses we're taking. Thank you, Rachel. So I'd like to take any questions. We have some microphones. We don't. I think we do that here. Are there any questions? And we'll pass a few microphones over. Bill. Okay.
Rob, can I just first of all thank you sincerely for explaining this mess so clearly.
Thank you, Phil.
You talked about the bias of the development towards this area. Is there any suggestion, and I mentioned that you got your legal challenge section later, but is there any recommended suggestion that we can all start to employ if that is the one pressure point that is open to us, if this is a fait accompli?
I think that most definitely is. We'll cover funding and legal points later. Thanks for your question, Bill. It's a very good question. There are two areas to that. One is the planning applications coming up. We have engaged with a planning consultant, a very experienced guy. Unfortunately, he has conflict of interest and cannot represent us. Just to give you an idea of fees, his fees are £3,000 a day. Fortunately, we got some preview work out of him, so that was good. So, that would be one route we could take for the applications yet to come. In terms of those that have been decided upon, they're not actually contractually decided upon yet because the developers have not paid the Section 106 agreement, which is when they enter into contract. So we have taken legal counsel from a very large firm in London, again through one of our contacts, and there is a legal route we are taking. I think, to be honest, the chances of that succeeding are rather slim, but once it is accepted, once the Section 106 is paid by the developers, then the only route for legal recourse is really through the judiciary system, which is a high court, and the fees for that, who knows, 150, 200,000. I don't think we have the means for that. I don't think we'll ever have the means for that, but who knows. So yes, there is some room for legal representation, and we are investigating that further. One of the things we would need is some more funding, and I'm sure Robin will cover that when she gets to her piece. Thank you for your question, Phil. Any more questions?
One thing that a lady in the corner.
Which corner?
This corner.
Okay, it's quite dark over there. Hi, Chris.
Hello. One thing that it's been a fantastic presentation. I think I've learned more from it than I have going to all the bloody council meetings I've been to. But the one thing that you've missed in all of this is the Wellbourne problem. There's still another 6,000 houses going in Wellbourne. That is just going to totally slay Fareham. The traffic out of that combined with the traffic in Fareham. There was a joke put on the Facebook page not long ago about you've got a part-time job, how come you're working 70 hours a week when it's 30 hours work and 40 hours travelling? That's what it's going to be like between Porchester and here. This is only the tip of the iceberg. A nasty tip, but it is still just the tip of the iceberg in Fareham. And the other point, if I can make a plug, if you want to see any of these videos of the planning committee meetings and what have you, there are a lot on the Informed Fareham webpage.
Thank you, Chris. And just to answer that, I absolutely agree with you. One of the policies says that the council have to take into account the cumulative effects of development, and clearly they're not doing that. And just to add to Chris's point, the reason we're in this mess is because Fareham Borough Council, and to Phil's point, Fareham Borough Council have not met their housing targets. They are 2 years behind on Wellbourne due to land disputes. And there are going to be 6,000 at Wellbourne, which, yes, it's going to be a problem, but we can't really, I don't think we can challenge that. That's been going on years. I think we have to look a bit more locally. Additionally, if you take the houses in Burslem, there's another, 500, 600, 700 houses going there on the A27 and near the Tesco site, and that's a mile and a half from our borough. So the traffic is going to get worse. It's just going to be horrendous. There are plans, I think, to put a fourth lane on the M27. I've read something about something like £250 million, but I think that has been delayed as well. I'm sure the councillors here will know more about that. But Chris, I hope that answers your question. I agree with you and I sympathise with you. I don't think we can take off that further, personally. Any more questions, please? One bit of time. Keep it going. Pardon? Okay. Any more questions, please? There must be some more. Come on. Gentleman there, thank you.
My name's Chris Nunn. I live on Church Road here, in an estate that was built in 1978. So I've been here about 40 years. To the south east of us lies an area that is known as Warsash Common. How does that stand in respect of all these applications for planning? Is somebody going to get their hands on that? Warsash Common.
Yeah, I heard you, Chris, Warsash Common. For those who didn't, is Warsash Common going to be consumed by this frenzy of activity? I guess the answer, Chris, is long term, I don't know. What I would say is it's not in the local plan at the moment. That doesn't mean to say, and those who were at CAT meeting, a gentleman sat somewhere over there, not tonight, but at the CAT meeting, did say, well, once you've done this, what's stopping the development from increasing and continuing? And Sean Woodward said, well, if the government put more pressure on us, we just have to carry on building. So Chris, I'm sorry, I don't have a specific answer for you. It's not in the draft local plan, but they did say that about some of the land we're talking about tonight. So, I can't give you any guarantees, but that's the truthful answer.
Can I just add to that? Because Charlie Bennett mentioned earlier about the CPRE having a petition to try and protect the southern Hampshire land and create our own green belt. So if you can sign that petition, I think that's what they're working towards, is to making sure that other parts of land in the area will be protected. And that's my understanding. I don't know if that's what... Yeah.
There's 4,000 on that petition already, so that's in about 2 weeks. So it shows the strength of feelings.
Yeah, I mean, it's an online petition. If you're not online, I'm not sure how you would sign it, but if you are on the Facebook page, and we can put a link to it on the website. So if you want to sign it, you just click on it, And I think, yeah, it's already at 4,000.
Yeah, and there's some Charlie's estimate sheets.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So if you want to sign that petition, you can sign these sheets.
And that might go towards helping some of, maybe protecting some of the land that in the future maybe they will start building on there as well. So,
Chris, can I just add, I think it may be that Waterbury Common is a bit of a special area as well. I don't think it's a scientific interest, but there may be some special requirements there in terms of a protected species and so on. So I would think that has a strong case. I don't know the specifics, but there are within the policies, particularly the MPPF National Planning Policy Framework, and I'm sure Richard will tell you in the section. It does say, things like some natural sites of scientific interest will be excluded, areas of special interest, and I suspect that Waterbury Common will fall into that category.
Thank you.
Yes, hello, Norman Paston is my
Hello.
name. I'm not a member of the council, but the council used that area as a countryside park. It's got a designation of some sort. It's very rural, it's very unsuitable for housing, it's got a history of gravel excavation and also of, I believe, it became a tip site before it was restored to this. So I don't think we should be looking at that place as a future housing estate.
Thanks for adding to that, Norman. Rachel, how are we doing for time?
We're doing okay, actually. We can do a couple more questions.
Couple more questions then, please. Anyone? Two or three at the back now.
About 20 or 30 years ago, I thought that there was a green belt in there, in this area.
Green, but there is no strategic gap in this area. There's a local gap, and that is referenced in the plans. What the council are adamant to protect is strategic gaps, and I think there's 2 or 3 of those. 2. One fair into Gosport, Trevia. What's the other one? Stubbington, yeah. So there's 2. So green belt and strategic gap and local gap are different. So does that answer your question, or is not?
Really, because I recollect something.
Could you use the microphone, please?
There is no green belt in Hampshire. Okay. Hampshire doesn't have any, and that's what CPR is.
Is that going back 20, 30 years?
I think there's
Never been?
never been green belt in Hampshire.
Richard is part of our committee, and he's done an awful lot of research on the policies. So, thank you, Richard.
I'm not an expert at all, but I would like to believe with additional housing, you're supposed to supply additional green space for people to be able to access, obviously from a health and well-being point of view, and also for our wildlife. We're currently living in a country where 60% of our wildlife is declining. But do you know anything about that at all?
Not the percentages, but I absolutely agree with you. There's 2 aspects to that as well, I think. In terms of what the council would argue, they would argue they are freeing up more space, community space, because they will give green areas, playing areas, they're even talking about football pitches and so on, to the community. Because the spaces where they're building houses on at the moment is private land, so obviously you can't go and use it. But clearly it does push the wildlife out. I live on Greenway Lane. I saw today buzzard, kestrel and deer. I've also seen the odd protected species on that land, and the council don't seem to care, to be honest with you. They have ecology reports, and I read an ecology report on one site. I can't remember which site it was, and the people who did the ecology report have never even been on site. How they are qualified, in fact they weren't qualified, someone on our Facebook page said they weren't qualified in the right field to address it. So it's that level of expertise and support we are seeking, which we'll come on to later. I absolutely agree with you, but from my experience, the council, very few of them seem to care about that.
Hello, my name is Vicky Campbell. I've lived off Abshot Road since 1983.
I see you right?
Hence my
Okay, go ahead.
hence my interest.
I'm just looking at your document, effective ways to object, and the last 2 points suggest that Perranborough Council is really passing the buck when it comes to provision with regards to roads and health, which obviously many of us are concerned about. Does anyone know, is this regular that a local council can just shrug its responsibilities like this and leave the county council and the commissioning group to pick up the problems, or is there ever a case where those bodies could advise in advance or be consulted in advance by people like us, for example?
I'm not an expert, but I can give you my experience over the last 2 years or so, particularly in the recent applications. And the council absolutely do pass the buck. The council are not responsible for highways, that's Hampshire County Council. They're not responsible to provide school places, that again is Hampshire County Council. They have a duty to work with, for example, the clinical commissioning group for health. They have a duty to work with the schools and the transport authorities, Hampshire County Council. At the planning meeting on the 24th of January, one of the councillors, in fact I think it was Councillor Ford, said he was astounded that Hampshire County Council, in his response about this particular application, once again just came back and said no objections. And Councillor Ford made a strong point of saying they do this all the time. When are they going to take it seriously? So you're right, they do pass the buck. I know there are some changes afoot to change the community infrastructure levy to take some provision for schooling. But from what I have experienced over the past 2 years, it doesn't happen. They do consult, but what they get back is, well, you know, just go ahead and do it. These 3 applications have a transport levy to mitigate some of the problems that they envisage, and I think the 3 sites between them is generating about 1.35 million, and they're going to put some traffic lights here and there, and maybe a new roundabout. But is that going to ease the congestion? I don't think so. It's just going to get it quicker to the A27 and M27, where all the problems start. And that point was made again at the planning meeting. So I hope that answers your question. One last question? No?
Yeah, maybe
one last question. It is a quick one. Gentlemen at the back. Yeah, be quick.
Sorry, I know Charlie Bennett said not to be political and that the councils do a hard job, but what's the story behind our councillor has ended up with like losing by 1 vote, and the person that replaced it proposed the acceptance?
Yeah, I didn't quite hear all the question, but I think it was to do with the councillor who couldn't vote because he was predetermined. Is that correct? Yeah. I don't know the answer to that, so I can't really answer it, I'm afraid. Sorry. Yeah, Trevor, do you want to say a word on that? The councillor you're talking about is Trevor, by the way. Councillor Cartwright.
Yes, I can answer that question. I mean, the situation really was that over a long period of time, all this, you know, the draft local plan had come through. The draft local plan had come through. I wasn't very happy with that. Various other topics came through. At the same time, also, there was a number of people saying to me, you know, isn't it time you got off the fence because, you know, you keep saying you sit on the planning committee, so you can't make any comment. And to be perfectly frank, it then got to the stage where, with the draft local plan being put back, these applications coming in, then we had the fiasco of the Taylor Wimpey appeal coming out, and that was put back as well. And I had to get off the fence at the end of the day. And as a consequence, I was then sent for by and also I made a number of points within the council as well, and the monitoring officer, that's effectively the police officer, then called me in and said, you realise you've now predetermined. And the answer was that because of that, I couldn't sit on the planning committee. Now if I had, I would have been then open to any developer who would then have taken me to court, and I would have ended up with a criminal record. I wasn't prepared to do that. So what I actually did in the end, I couldn't sit on the planning committee meeting, and of course, you know, it was very close at the end of the day, and of course, I don't know what the other councillors were going to vote, but at the end of the day, I couldn't sit on them. But I did give a very robust deputation at the planning meeting to actually see what the situation was. So that's the answer to it, but I wasn't prepared to end up in court on it. It's as simple as that. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. I'll hand over to... I'll hand over to my wife. Thank you.